All right, Winner Circle Wednesday. Today is part 2 of how to manage your listings as a new agent. We're going to quickly recap last week's talk, and then we're going to move in on how to implement managing your listings. So just to recap what we discussed last week, we talked about how to manage it. So what I want all of you to do is to go out and I want you to create a free Gmail account. And this is how you're going to store all of your documents electronically. So when you create a Gmail account, you're going to have access to something called a Google Drive. And within that Google Drive, you'll be able to store your Google Docs. And we sent out the training from last week to all of you. And we've also sent out the copy of the PDF for every step of the procedure on how we manage our listings. And as a recap, if you look at your screen right now, you're going to see our 6-step process on how we manage our listings. This is simply a workflow. Now, this must be done manually, either by yourself or an administrative assistant. You can easily hire someone to do this for you. It's a very low entry position, doesn't require a lot of skill. But over the last 10 years, I've been able to figure out what works best for our clients. And I've figured out what we need for listing appointments. So again, create your Gmail, open up a Google Drive, and then take all of these procedures that we've created, and I want you to copy and paste them and save them yourself. And then what you'll do is you'll end up editing them to whatever fits you best. And this is just an example. So if a seller were to contact you and say, hey, we're considering selling our home, what's your process? You know, I want you to think of this like a restaurant or a drive-through. The moment you walk into Starbucks, they welcome you. They take your name, they take your order, they write your name on the cup. There's a step-by-step process that they have. And this is our process when we have a listing before the appointment. This is process number 1. We have process number 2 after the listing appointment. And it goes all the way to coming soon, just listed on the MLS, in escrow, and then post-closing. What do we do afterwards? Request a final document statement, send a sold card, and then we have, as you can see here, ask the seller for 2 referrals. All right, so you have the system, you have the process. Now, what do you do with the process in order to make it workflow? The next thing we recommend all of you to do is to create a free Trello account. Free Trello account. And when you create the free Trello account, you're gonna be asked to create boards. What are the boards? Boards on the left-hand side are very similar to a whiteboard that you would have on your wall. So if you can drop it in the chat, how many of you, either now or previously, have seen either yourself or other team leaders or agents use a whiteboard? And it'll say escrows or listings, it'll say the address, and they'll write how much they're earning on the commission. How many of you have seen that before? Drop it in the chat. I want to see how many of you are familiar with it. Nancy says, I use a whiteboard. The other Nancy said, Karen says, I use a whiteboard. Nancy says, me. All right, so 4 of you have seen it before. Okay. Most agents, and I used to do the same exact thing, I would have a whiteboard for my escrows. I would have a whiteboard for my listings. Natalie says, me too. I used to have a whiteboard for all of my leads. No more. You're going to start doing it digitally. And again, what I'm teaching you today, this is really for newer agents. This isn't really for experienced people who are using Sisu or who are using their CRM at a high level. This is just, Gabe, I don't know where to start. I want something easy. Don't complicate it. How can it work? So you're going to get Trello, and you're also going to download the app on your phone. And this works across all your platforms. Let me switch my cameras because I think it just turned off. Give me 1 second, team. All right. All right, so here we are back on the board. So now you're going to see the Trello board. On the left-hand side, you're going to create your boards. And you see I have my to-do list. I have my sellers. I have a board for my escrows. I have a board for my buyers. Can you do this all in your CRM? Yes. Should you eventually take it all there? Yes. But if you're a new agent, you're managing 1 to 2 transactions, 3, 4 maybe you have a part-time VA or a full-time VA assistant, this is where I want you to start. Eventually, you want to take it to your CRM, which is KV Core. All right, so let's talk about sellers, managing your listing. So here is this being recorded. I can review this video, please. Yes, Marissa, it's being recorded. I bought Google Sheets template to keep track, but I like how Trello looks. Nancy, I want you to cancel Google Sheets. You should not be paying for anything. This is all free. Everything that I'm teaching you today is free, and it works across every single platform, so iOS and Android. All right, so here's your sellers. All right, and this is how I set up my seller board. Again, I want you to think of a whiteboard, and I've created columns for the whiteboard. So a seller comes in, and you have a seller lead. And the way that you're going to put the seller lead is very simple. I'm going to show you this on the right-hand side. Okay, here we go to the left. All right, team. So you create a Trello board. You create a board right here by hitting the plus button, and it's going to look like this once you set it up. It's going to say add another list, and you can call this list step 1 in the process. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I just happen to call mine seller leads. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but I call it seller leads. So the moment any seller reaches out to me, I immediately take their information and I put them into my seller lead column. And then I input their information inside of it. If they become an upcoming listing appointment, I create another list and I labeled it upcoming listing appointments. So in this situation here, I'm going to use this as an example. I already started this one for you. So let's just say I have a seller who contacts me and they're like, hey, Gabe, I want to sell my home. I immediately add them to my Trello board, and then I put their address with the client name right here. Now look at this. This is called a card. You grab the card, you open it. And let me go ahead and delete this for a second. This is what your card is going to look like. In the description, you're going to put important information, loan balance, HELOC info, when they bought, who's on title, those kind of things. You're going to save this here, and that's going to be like what you're going to see every time you open the card. So as soon as I open it, I'm going to see this important information right here. Then I go to checklists, and this is what I want you guys to see. So the checklist that we created earlier from the system, you're going to take that, you're going to copy it, just the way I copied it now. You're going to go back over to Trello on your activity. You're going to paste it here. You're going to save it, and oh, it didn't work for some reason. What's going on with it? Well, once you save it to your checklist, it's going to look like this. It's going to look here, the checklist, pre-listing appointment checklist. You'll add it here, and it'll start to add everything. My computer's glitching, you guys. Give me a second. Why is it doing this? Checklist. Pre-appointment checklist, number 1. Here we go. Add. All right, it's acting weird for some reason. I'm going to try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to move on. Let's try it one more time. Pre-listing appointments. Add. There we go. Now it worked. Okay. So look at the pre-listing appointment checklist. It's no different than what I have here. It's the same exact checklist. Now, the awesome thing is once you've added it to Trello, it stays there as one of your checklists, and you never have to copy and paste it ever again. So Gabe, I just got a listing. What do? I open up my Trello board. I add the client's information here. I add the pre-listing appointment checklist. Now watch how amazing this is next. You ask the seller the following questions. What is your home address? What is your loan balance? Do you have an HOA? And boom, I completed that. 13% of that Trello board has been completed. Prepare the RLA, the SELM, BRE, zip forms, whatever it might be. Boom, 25%. And as I start to check off, I know exactly where I'm at with the process. How many of you on this call, when you get a listing, you're writing notes on a piece of paper, you're sending yourself a text message, you're writing an email to give yourself a reminder, and all of your notes are everywhere and it's so confusing, you don't know how to manage it all. Well, where's step 1 in the process? You no longer have to do that anymore, because now you're going to add it to your Trello board and you're going to see. And let's just say, Gabe, I left my computer at home. I don't have my laptop with me. Well, guess what? You can do everything that I'm teaching you from your cell phone. And you can give your administrative assistant access to this, and they can manage your listings. And so now on a Saturday or a Sunday or 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night, if you want to know where your file's at without having to bother them, you can go to your Trello board and say, oh, we've prepared the CMA, we've requested the net sheet, we add the client to the CRM and whatever. And then after that's done, we close it out. And then now the listing appointment happens. And guess what? They didn't sign. you move it over here to didn't sign. Or maybe they signed and they're not ready to sell right now. You move it over to signed and not ready to sell. Maybe they signed it, your listing expired, or maybe you signed it and they're ready to go. Okay, so you signed it and they're ready to go. Let's move on to the next part of the checklist. After listing appointment checklist. This is our entire process. You take the entire process and you duplicate what I just taught you. So you go over to your checklist, you add it over here, and you go to after listing appointment checklist, you add it, and now look what it does. It adds your second one. After listing appointment checklist, confirm with Gabe timelines into sale of the property, done. Send out next steps email to your client, done. Confirm HOA for sale sign, done. If work was done to the home, save all the invoices in the Google Drive, done. Request a copy of the spare key, done. And all of this can be managed from your phone and from the computer. It's so simple and it's free. And then now, anytime your client asks you, hey, where are we with the process? You have it all here documented so you can manage it by yourself. And then once they're signed, ready to go, the listing goes over to coming soon status. And then this is what a listing might look like to you. Here's one of my listings. HOA information. I told you all the important information will go in the description. And here's the process of where we're at the entire listing. And if you go down at the very bottom, here's my important links. I have the Matterport, I have the video, I have the MLS, I have the website that we created. Everything is kept here at any time. So if my client says, hey, can I see a copy of the Matterport? May I see a copy of the photos, the copy of the website? I have everything kept here under one place. And then you continue moving it along the process. Active listing, sell with another agent, or then active listing on the MLS and then closed afterwards. I'm gonna pause there for a second because I just gave you guys a lot of information. What questions do you have? Go ahead. Not everyone at once. Any questions? 1 second, team. Church, if you can help me with that. All right, how do I get that? I'm looking at the messages. Wow, this is so helpful. You're welcome, Angie. Trina, how do you get it? Go to Trello.com, download it, it's free. Now I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the web version. I want everyone to look at their screen. We have a few minutes left, and before we wrap up, I wanna show you what that looks like. So take a look at your screen. I'm gonna show you what it looks like on a cell phone. So here is the phone version of it, same exact thing. And I have my sellers here. And now look, I have my seller leads. And the moment my seller leads finish, I can grab them and I can drag them over. And I can relocate them wherever I want them to from my phone. I can open anything from my cell phone here. Let's see here. I'll give you an example. Let's show you. I can't really see it, guys. 1 second. Hopefully this works. And then I can open it up and I can add my checklist and I can manage the whole thing from here. So from your cell phone, it's actually really, really awesome and simple. And then same thing, you can manage all of your escrows here. You can open your escrows, you can see where your files are at in the escrow process, where the disclosures are at, who did what, and you can hire a virtual assistant to do all of it. So this is a very simple, easy way as a newer agent, how you can manage your listing at a very high level. You don't have to have multiple systems. You don't have to learn some complex system. We already have all the checklists created for you. Take them, copy them, insert them into Trello, and you can manage your file from start to finish, including your leads from start to finish on Trello, and you don't have to pay for anything extra. And then eventually, when you get really big, really busy, you'll move everything over to KB Core, you'll hire an assistant, and they'll manage everything for you right there. So I'll pause there because that's the last of our training there. Let's see here. Thank you. Wait for the link. And yeah, I want all of you to go back and watch this video and watch last week's video again and start implementing everything. It'll take you 30 minutes at max to implement everything I taught you. We already have the checklist. You don't have to recreate it. We already have it for you. Take that, copy and paste it. We already have every single step in the process already for you. Look at your screen. Look at your screen. Look at the procedures. We already have every single step in the procedure created for all of you. Step 1, pre-listing. Step 2, after your listing appointment. Step 3, coming soon process. Step 4, you just listed it on the MLS. Step 5, in escrow. And step 6, closed. And look, I want you guys to get this dialed in with everything. I want you to have an open house procedure. What should you do for your open house? We have an open house procedure. I have an example of what our flyers look like for the open house. Every single time we have an open house, I want the flyers to look the exact same. I want a cover photo. I want an about us. I want a property image. I want financing on the back of the flyer. I want the map of the comparables. I want the community information. And then lastly, I want my information at the last. Every single one of my open house flyers looks just like this. I don't do what 99% of the realtors do out there, which is just have an MLS printout or a single property flyer. They don't need your flyer to know about the house. Everything is online. So number one, you shouldn't be wasting paper. And secondly, if you want to stand out, you got to do your open houses differently. I'm segueing. This has nothing to do with the training today, but I'm just showing you an example of why we secure so many listings at open houses. You have to remember, when you have a listing and you're hosting an open house, number one, your responsibility is to sell the home. But number two, you're also interviewing for the job of another listing, and you're also interviewing for a job of purchasing, helping someone purchase. And if you don't showcase your skill set at the open house while they're there, there is no way they're going to give you an appointment. If you walk in there and there's no music, no water, no flyers, you're underdressed, you got there late, and then you want to ask them for a listing appointment for a 6% listing to be signed, absolutely not. I'm sitting in the open house 30 minutes before it starts. I'm wiping everything down with Windex. I'm wiping everything down with, I'm wiping the floors down, opening the windows, turning on the lights. Man, I get greasy really fast. I don't know if you guys can tell by looking at the screen. I get oily really fast. So I'm in the restroom batting down this oil so that I can look fresh by the time I get there. And when you walk into my open house, I have music playing. I have my flyers that look just this sexy. And I know I have all the comparables already studied so I can sell you on the home. And then when you tell me as a prospect, oh, I don't want to, I'm not, this home doesn't match my need, but we do need to sell our property to buy another one. I literally just showcased my skill set. And when I ask you, hey, listen, I know this home doesn't match your needs, but I'd love the opportunity to sit down with you and apply for the job of selling your home. I've already showcased 70% of what I'm capable of. And when I ask him for the appointment, I have a high conversion ratio because I've already applied for the job. I know that was off topic, and we're going to go ahead and stop there. But any questions at all, team? Or any final thoughts? Thank you, Adam. Absolutely a pleasure. Trina, thank you.
Hi,
Andy,
Gabe.
thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I do have a question. So the Trello, you're using it to manage like pipeline and all the from leads to it's done, but you're also using it to basically like to add in all of your standard operating procedures?
Correct. Yes.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'll look. So here's my pipeline for all my clients. You'll see here that I have, I use it for all of it. Now, again, this is for entry level, very basic. Eventually, I want you guys to do this on your CRM. But yes, I have my buyer leads. I have my buyer appointments who are set. I have my buyers met working with lender on a plan. Buyer Spanish lead referred to the team. I have my active buyers, and I have my clients who are on hold. So that's my workflow for my buyers. My sellers, the exact same thing. Seller leads, upcoming appointments, didn't sign. And I have the workflow within all the notes. Same thing for my escrows, my closed escrows. Same thing for my to-do list. If I need to track what I'm doing. I mean, how many of you catch yourself with a free 2 hours and you're twiddling your thumbs like, what should I do? Well, Trello makes it very easy. We have a do, doing, and done board. So this is what I need to do. This is what Cherish needs to do. We move it over. Oh, it's completed now. And then we get the little high from being able to see what we completed. But yeah, to answer your question, that's how we manage everything.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good questions. All right, 1 to 2 takeaways. Someone open up the mic. What was your biggest takeaway from today? 1 to 2 people, open up the mic. What was your biggest takeaway?
Before we share that, I did want to mention that I put in a link in the chat that has, well, I put 2 different links. The first link was a how to create a Trello board. And then I put the Trello website there in the chat. And then I also did put the link for all of the procedures from the Google Drive in the chat as well.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Last notice, we have our Winner's Circle Summer Soiree happening June 28th in San Diego. We just signed a contract for the venue. We have some amazing 3 speakers lined up for the event. We're going to have a mimosa bar there. We rented out what's called Octavio's restaurant, which is right next to Petco Park, the baseball stadium for the San Diego Padres. We shut down that entire restaurant, and there's it doesn't cost anything to attend the Winner's Circle Soiree. All you have to worry about is your flight, your drive, your hotel, but lunch will be taken care of. Drinks will be taken care of. Your admission fee to the event will be taken care of. And last thing is this event is not for anyone else except the Winner's Circle agents. So we have about 150 seats only. We have almost 200 agents in the Winner's Circle. So I strongly encourage you, as soon as we drop the link, RSVP. This is not for outside agents. It's only for us. Last year was an amazing event, and it's happening June 28th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in San Diego, California. Mark your calendars. We have 3 high-level speakers that'll be teaching on 3 high-level topics, and I'm excited to announce who they're going to be. You'll see that drop on the flyer. So with that said, team, super happy to have you guys all here today. The training will be posted on the follow-up on the WhatsApp chat, on the YouTube link, on YouTube, and then we'll post the link on the WhatsApp chat. So you'll have all the recordings there. You guys, God bless. Have a good afternoon, and we'll see you guys on the next call.